as I think of you, and reminisce on all the things you do. I can't imagine my life without you. It's like paradise, and I know that it's real. Ooh, it's a mystery that someone would give their life for me. What you did on Calvary, it makes me wanna love you more. I never knew life could be so happy. I never knew I'd be so secure. Because of your love, life has brand new meaning. It's gonna be a brighter day, brighter day, brighter day. I like to use my brain for you and use it to write songs for you. You're getting all of the best of me, 'cause I'm giving all of the best of me. Oh Lord, my heart's only built for two. You won't wear me up 'cause I'm the perfect shoe. You're getting all of the best of me, 'cause I'm giving all of my best. I don't need words, and I don't need songs, but I choose to use them. The light shines brighter when it shines for you. Whoa, I ain't blowing smoke. No, this ain't hot air. It's how I choose to love you. My light shines brighter when it shines for two.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I don't know about y'all, but every time that I see the intro and I hear the intro, I be sitting here, I be like in the background, like, yeah, that's the intro. It's about to get started. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Again, look, it's still February, right? It's still February, so we still doing our tribute to Black History, and I hope y'all have been taking the time to look back and enjoy yourselves in terms of knowing where you've come from, knowing what is in your DNA and in your bloodline, watching how Black folk have gone through history to carve out a place in this world for us when they tried to take it from us. So that's the thing. African history will take you back to the beginning of your times, right? Tens of thousands of years ago, right? Black history will start here in the Americas, on this soil in the diaspora. You know what I mean? So I hope y'all been finding who you are and whose you are by this journey of celebrating Black history. That's important because studying Black history or studying history itself, it helps us, it gives you a sense of self-awareness. You get to understand who you are, self-discovery, self-realization. A lot about studying where we come from to get where we are will give you a whole lot in terms of your identity of why you are where you are and where we need to go as a people. And then you could also, even in that space, you get to find out what can you contribute. What can you contribute? And so we get there to the point where we're dealing with the rise of the African. What are you going to contribute to the development of your people? What's going to be your slice of the pie, right? Black history is what is their slice of the pie? What is their slice of the pie? What did this individual contribute, or what did they give, and what did they do? And then how did that affect the rise of the African? And so we'll tell you as much as we can that we're not where we're supposed to be. No, as a people, we know we're close. So that rise is important. And so I sit down and I'll tell you World of Alkebulan is all about the rise of the African as a social media Pan-African movement, because we want to experience the Marcus Garvey numbers. I put out a post earlier saying we are ready for another parade. Yes, we are. I'm going to make that happen. Man, I got some plans. I got some plans for the development of the World of Alkebulan. So what we ask you is, please support, support, support. So if you're watching us on Facebook, make sure you hit like, you hit comment, you hit share. Why? Because we are after moving our black youth forward into this new world experience. We're connecting them. This is the first time in black history or the black life where we can connect black youth all over the globe, all over the diaspora. It's our time, y'all. It's our time, and let World of Alkebulan be that vehicle. Come on, we working, we working. I got some things coming, but we working. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please, well, we got to do it again. Please hit subscribe, hit the subscribe button, click, hit the bell, ding. So every time we post something or we stream, you get to see what we're doing. Why? Because we are absolutely busy here. Producing, producing, producing. I told you I had one more class that I'm going to develop. I think I came up with a second one. It's not necessarily a class, it's just a streaming experience. Really, I came up with three more, right? And then I had a friend of mine who she came up with a fourth one. So we got fourth, man, we got a whole lot coming. Now we're going to get to the point where y'all not going to see my face. We're going to put everybody else's face up in here because right now I'm holding the camp down. I'm holding the camp down until we can get everybody, you know, who God is going to call to support this movement, to support the movement. And so we ask that Sundays, Alkebulan Inspirational Sunday at noon. Tuesdays, we got the African Speaks at 7 p.m. Very powerful. Thursday, I hope you didn't miss it this past Thursday, which is Afro Stream topics from the diaspora. Saturday, which was at 1 o'clock, we got African Roots and Culture, World of Alkebulan African History class. And at 2 o'clock, we got the Understanding African Spirituality class, World of Alkebulan Understanding African Spirituality class. We missed this. I had to go visit my grandbaby. We had a lot going on this weekend, so we missed the Saturday classes, but we ready. We caught up, so we ready. So please get a chance and join us, right? And I always let you know that everything that we do is the support of this ancient covenant promise that we have with the Creator. I will be your God if you be my people. That's it. It's an ancient covenant that we have. And this has started long time ago when we first got blessed with being placed on this earth. And if you was here at African Spirituality class, Understanding African Spirituality, it's a direct relationship that African people have with God. People of African descent have with God. It's a direct relationship. Why? Because God chose in our DNA to create a multitude of cells and information and data in our DNA that's nobody else's, right? So really, the closer you get to your African descent, the more information you have in your body. We talked about that. So what we're trying to do is access that promise that we get to be God's people. And so all the blessings that's what all the things that we've gone through. You can't get rid of us. You can't stop us. It's in our DNA to rise. And this is what we're doing because of that ancient covenant. And so it is all based off of the relationship. All based on our relationship with man's, which is black woman. So mankind, man, the black race's relationship with each other, right? That's you and your brother and sister, you and your best friends, you and your cousin, you and your grandma, you and your neighbor, everybody that has a faith like you. And everybody who don't. Is mankind. We're supposed to be teaching mankind how to live. That's what our call was, right? So it's man relationship with man relationship with nature. Yeah, we can't be destroying and polluting and killing the earth. God gave it to us so that we could take care of it and it could take care of us. Our relationship with nature. Then our relationship, African spirituality, our relationship with our ancestors. What? Yes, that's a part of it. That's a part of it. That's that relationship, that connection. Because sometimes, if you've been in African spirituality class, they said that Africans believe that we have to have intercedents. This is why when Jesus was saying, pray in my name, I'll take it to the Father. He's interceding. Why? Because maybe our voices, we're not worthy. We're not worthy to be in the presence of God sometimes. So we pray in our ancestors' names and say, hey, can you please speak to God for me? If grandma not here no more and you need something to happen in your life and you praying to God and you not feeling like, your energy is reaching that experience, You can reach out to your grandmother, your aunt, or whoever you know that's there. Say, yo, please get this to the heart, mind, and the ear of God for me, because I need this to happen. It's all about relationships. It's all about the connection. And so we want to blend that, when we always say our vocabulary word is continuity. Right. If you remember what continuity means, we're connecting everything. We're connecting everything. The property of continuous and connected period of time. A detailed script used to make a continuity. Film where it's avoid disconnections and different shots. Uninterrupted connection or union. That's exactly what this experience is. An uninterrupted connection with the creator, with our ancestors, with the spirits, angels, however you want to put it. But that's it. Uninterrupted connection, continuity. And so during, we say Black History Month is not in February. What? What? No, for us, Black History Month starts January 1st, ends December 31st. It's all year. Why? Because it aids to the development of self-awareness. I was watching a movie the other day, Chinese movie. And in the Chinese movie, the guy was talking about Chinese mythology, religious mythology. And so he was explaining it, and he said, we've been to Chinese school. We know what you're talking about. And that's funny because black folk go to school and we start talking about African spirituality and African history and Black history. You'd be like, huh? What's that? As grown folks will say that because they just don't know. Right? And so we said we have to have that particular type of class. We have to have that. And so hopefully we'll get to that. Now, what I want to ask you, well, we've been saying for this theme is a generational Black love. Generational Black love. When you're studying Black history, it's a generational Black love. Again, don't forget that word, continuity. It's a connection that Black people have with each other, Black people have with the world, Black people have with nature, Black people have with God. That we are going to be our best selves. Black love is about that surrender to God. Woo. It's not only about romance and you got a girlfriend, boyfriend, boo thing, wife, husband, whatever it is. It's deeper than that. Is that we got a relationship with God. We do as a people. And our relationship with each other is continual. It goes through the generations because we're struggling. They call it the struggle, the liberation struggle, freedom fight to get back to where God would have us be. I have a friend and she's going through some changes, right? And that she's going through some changes and she's helping her mom out. Her mom moved out of the state. Was like, wait a minute, I moved here to help you. And we were talking and I said, wait a minute. Generational Black love. Did you show the love to your mom the way you felt you should? She said, yes. Then that was the journey. That was the blessing. Because some people don't get a chance to do that or have that experience or opportunity. So find the power in that generational Black love, that experience of connectedness that continues life. And you will be able to receive more power than you can ever even imagine from the Creator. Right? And so what we did last week when we talked about generational Black love, we invited the community, the World of Alkebulan mentor, ancestral elder community inside World of Alkebulan to share their stories. And I don't want it to play. I hope it doesn't play. Let me see if it cuts. Yeah. So it's playing. We gotta find that out.
I left for a while. I went to Houston. My girls were born in Houston, Shrine 10. My first husband.
Okay, there we go. I didn't want the video, but if you see how we set it up, right? If you see what we did, they came on and talked about their journey with inside our community. The development of World of Alkebulan, Alkebulan Academy, the sister who will help put that together, she was there. The development of Bugleland, the farm, right? So we have the largest Black-owned farm in the United States. They discussed that, and the people who lived on the farm and still on the farm, they were there. Then we the sister who joined at 12 in 1958. 1958. She didn't want to tell. Yeah, she joined at 1958. If you could do the math, you can find out how old she is. Right? She said she created, we had people singing, but she created something called the Nationaires, which is how we name our church choir. Right? And so they were all there and they were all talking and they were all telling about their generational black love experience. How they were able to come into a community that is focused on building black love by building black institutions that serve black people. It was an experience. I had people call me saying, "Oh, it was a great situation." You see me sitting up there, and I was just listening. I was just sitting there listening. I was asking questions and listening. And after a while, it just was flowing, and it went on for a minute. Went on for about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes, because I didn't want to cut nobody off because it's all sacred to me. They gave us nothing but like sacred scripture to us. And so it was a beautiful experience. Continuity, the continuation. And so I tell them I work so hard just to so that the things that they created in the black community for the sake of me growing up, me coming up, me developing, and me getting to see what black people can do in the world, and then giving my energy to the world of Alkebulan, manifesting a vision and a focus and then extending it past the four walls that we're in. You know, our early learning program, extending it way past the early learning program to something that goes from 8 years old to 25. Man, I tell y'all, I got something coming for you. Well, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. But we're continuing again on this black love experience. Yes, we are after that. And so to continue on the black love experience today, now we said normally during Black History, and we're gonna go back because we did the female energy before we had the special, and now we're gonna do the male energy. We said what we do is I go and I have these Black History cards. Oh man, I left them over there and I should have brought them over here, but you'll see them. I have these Black History cards. And in these Black History cards, I shuffle the deck, I close my eyes, I pick two sisters, I pick two brothers, and I said, okay, what ancestors want to have a tribute ceremony, or which ones are speaking through me at the time. And so at the time that I pulled the cards, this brother here. Now again, we see ourselves in our history. We understand what individuals done on behalf of us, and we take the energy, and we're gonna see what he's saying to us, right? We're gonna see what this brother's saying to us, but we take that and we apply it to our own lives. What is the creator? What is God telling us? How can we get to our best selves? What are we fighting against? That's important. We're fighting to become the greatest you. You're fighting to become the greatest you. Especially, now that it's February, right? And we said even becoming the greatest you. And I'm gonna play the thing going off because Tuesday is 2/22 2022, right? That's 22/22, which is in another two. We have to be a part of this, man. The creator is giving us during these moments and these experiences, giving us a double portion of his energy, a double portion of the wisdom, a double portion of focus and dedication so that we can manifest the things that we are called to manifest in our lifetime. It's definitely important that we do this. So in that space, I want to bring about the brother who definitely tapped into his more than double portion of what God was going to call him to do. And so when you look at these, when I break this down, because I didn't understand how powerful this brother was. I didn't understand how powerful this brother was until man, please, okay, boom, Paul Robeson, Paul Robeson, Robeson. No R. I always put an R in it. I always put an R in it. I don't know why. When I was in New York and I was young and I was at Marcy Projects, Brooklyn. What's up? Yeah, I didn't not OV, sorry, not in Queens, but when I moved to Brooklyn after I left OV, right? I came here for a while and went back to New York for a while, and then I came back to stay. Right? I came back to go to college. So in that space, I would always see Paul Robeson. And you got buildings named after him, and you got schools, and it didn't click. Never looked at it. Yeah, he was an actor, right? Let me stop that. Um, Athlete and performing artist who became involved in the civil rights movement. Now, first I looked at his I looked at the the year he was born, 1898, realized that he had to go through the 1920s, which is Garvey time, right? Now, what? You see that? Marcus Garvey reborn. I'm tapping in. I'm tapping in. I'm tapping in. I sat down and said, man, please, if I can tap into the Garvey spirit, because Garvey said it. Garvey said, if you need me, call me. I'll be there. I'll be there. And I've been calling on Garvey for a minute to create and build what black people need so that when I leave an imprint on the world that says he was here, he contributed, he played a part. And if you want to call on me when I'm gone, call on me because I'm going to be there for you. Same way he's there for us. Same way Paul Robeson is. He had to go through those years where black folk had to fight for self-identity, self-realization, self-actualization, self-discovery. They had to fight for it because the world did not want us to become as powerful as we can be in the sight of God. They wanted us to be subservient to them, and they still do. That's why we got knees in our necks. They just said that there's another brother who just got gunned down on the couch. I got to look this up because we might have to make this a public thing and do this thing on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and something on. We got to do something special about current events, right? But yeah, we're gonna have to take a talk about this. And there's another current event that we're gonna talk about. But in this, right, this brother was not just an actor, because he did great, and not just a songwriter. Wrote over close to 300 songs in a matter of a few years. 300. Not just the Broadway, being the first black man to do Shakespeare on Broadway. Not just the Pan-Africanist, meaning that connecting all black people together, travel the world. Wait, he was also an athlete, all-American football player at college. Went to the NFL. Hold up. Let me not finish. I'm not finished. And was a valedictorian graduating college. Whoa. And then decided to act. Wait a minute. Mind, body, spirit integration. Created a black man in Paul Robeson that said, I can do all things in God. Woo. Man. This brother covered it all. And said, if God placed it in my DNA to do, I can do it. Now he was born in 1898. We talking about when life was hard. You couldn't go to the grocery store thinking that you were not gonna bump into, especially in the South. You wasn't gonna bump into some white group who was gonna hang you from a tree. Strange fruit, Billie Holiday. Look at Paul Robeson. Now that's that brother, powerful. It says in 1950 he was barred by the United States from renewing his passport to travel abroad for engagement. Why? Because of how powerful he was, how much he was spoken for. You got man. When you have all systems firing, you surrender your mind to God. Valedictorian. You surrender your body to God. Stellar 1, grade A athlete. You surrender your spirit to God. Song after song after song, and he sang, man, in the vocal notes of his time. Mind, body, and spirit integration. And then he used his platform. He used his platform to speak for the development of his people. Now, I'm going to always argue and talk about this thing. Where we are trying to figure out, well, what do I'm supposed to do? What am I supposed to be? Easy. Master the God in you. That's first. Surrendering your mind, your body, and spirit to understanding who God created you to be. You got to give God everything. Because when he does that, you can have individuals, mind, body, and spirit, who can do great things in his world on behalf of his people, from his mind, his body, and his spirit. That's deeply important because what has not been done yet, mm, we'll talk about it. Because they've been fighting. We as a black folk, we've been fighting for the longest for our civil rights. We've been fighting for the longest for our civil rights. And we've gotten to a state in our life where we don't always have civil rights. And that civil rights is a contract between citizens and their government. We're going to stop right there. So you trying to tell me I have to have a contract with my government in order to be respected? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And they're always trying to change. This is why when you're turning 18 and voting is important, because they can change the law where we got to go back steps in terms of our quote unquote freedom, right? Our freedoms. And we got to a point where we got so many freedoms, we forget that we still in the fight. People want to get relaxed. And I'm always arguing this. Ain't nothing going on vacation. There's something wrong with going on vacation, but you ain't really putting no God work in. Woo. That's it. Black history is about studying people who put God work in. What's your God work? What has God called you to do in order to help us get to maintain, sustain, and grow civil rights, which is the contract that we have with the government? Yes, it's a contract. It's a constitution. What's your God work? Paul knew his God work. I'm mastering all things about me. And in that, I'm going to apply that to the life that I'm living. And then we're going to see what God produces through me. That's surrendering. It's not, oh, he was great because he was great. God work. Now, we have to get to the point where we are looking for human rights. Human rights. The inherent rights that all people have simply because they're human. But we get to deserve. This is why we say, Marcus, where's the black man's government? Because if you had a black man's government, we wouldn't have to worry about human rights. Black man's government that is put together without the mark of colonialism or the mark of slavery. That's why African history class is important, because you get to see what we were able to create as a people without the influence of European colonialism and without the influence of slavery. But because that, that we don't get that in class, that's deeply important. Now, what we're saying here, and I got to drop this one because I was going to put this one. We're going to get this up. With Paul Robeson, there's a conversation now talking about critical race theory. Critical race theory, kids, if y'all are watching and you don't know what critical race theory, it's what World of Alkebulan does. Educating you on the life that black people are living here and what we've been through, what we've gone through, and the experiences that we have, and why the race relations in this country is the way it is. They don't want this in schools. They don't want this in schools. Why? Because they don't want to hurt the feelings of white kids. They don't want white kids to see how horrible white people were. Well, I say this. He didn't have critical race theory. He had a God consciousness. I'm not against putting critical race theory in schools, but we still live in a government that we have to have a contract with. And we want them to put that in public schools. You know that they're not. Man, please, that's an uphill battle. How about building institutions where we can educate all of our own children? Wouldn't that be beautiful? World of Alkebulan, multiple schools in one city that gives an education to black youth according to what black youth need to be successful. Wow. And that's why certain governments where with contract, I don't have a thing for government. Certain governments put up contracts where we can go to school and learn certain things in certain called charter schools and private schools, right? Because they don't want to do this. Black schools should. Black charter schools should. HBCUs should. Exactly. We need to know. However, what's important to the core is also being able to master mind, body, and spirit so that you can find out what God has called you to do. And maybe one day, no, ain't even one day with us just sitting here having this conversation. We Black history. We Black history. But how far can you go with it? How far? So Paul Robeson, let me see what he's, and that we say when we pull the card out of the spirit, what would this ancestor tell us? And he's saying, master the complete self. This Black history, Paul Robeson is speaking back to you. He's speaking back to you. When I closed my eyes and I said, who wants to speak? He said, I need you to master all areas of self, your mind, your body, your spirit. Then use your platform. Use your platform to make a better life for your people, your God mission. We all have one. We all have one. Some of us check out a life before we even figure out what it is. Some of us, we raise kids and that's it. That ain't enough. I'm trying to leave y'all a little bit more world than that. Empty nester. My nest is never empty because there's always a child being born in this world that I feel like I have to find a way to influence. So he's saying, yeah, master all areas of yourself. Be the best child of God that you can. Mind, body, spirit. Star athlete, great singer, writer. So that's his spirit. Being able to write spirit in song. Great actor. Student, deeply intelligent. He graduated valedictorian. Mind, body, and spirit. Wow. I'm going to learn more about Paul Robeson. Definitely listen to some of his old school songs. You know, we might not be able to stomach the old school way of singing, but it's a part of who we are. Master it. Now, on to the next. This next brother. This next brother is wow. I closed my eyes. I mixed the car. I really did mix the cards up, and I always do this because I try not to pick the same thing that everybody picks, but I couldn't help it. I wound up picking somebody that everybody knows. One time I picked, not only did I pick Marcus Garvey, but I picked his wives too. And I was like, wow, okay, they speaking to me and I do the job. So who was speaking to me this time? That revolutionary brother Malcolm X. Woo! And this is okay, because I tell you, I've been watching was it Godfather Harlem? And he's all in it, and I'm just looking at the dialogue, the energy. I watched one night in Miami. Man, love the brother, and it was you saw how in certain movies I saw how heartbroken he was when he couldn't find anybody that he really wanted to yo, I need you to connect with me on this because I need to make this move, knowing that he was being hunted. And it would have been easier for him to move to do what he needs to do if he can find that one person that connect with him to build with. Why? Because we're with two or more gathered, there shall I be. Even with Worlds of Alkebulan, we are nonprofit now. We're a nonprofit organization, and all donations are tax deductible. I don't even know if I have a flyer here. I can actually pull one up, and we're gonna do that real quick, right? However, with Malcolm, because I saw his torment, I saw his hurt, I saw his pain, I saw all of it. But what I also saw was his willingness not to give up. I'm going to do what God called me to do. So if you do not know uh, anything else, you know that he took it to the tilt. He was Muslim. Said Muslim and human rights activist. Period. Let's stop right there. The first one, he said he was Muslim, right? And that's one of the youngest spiritual disciplines that come from ancient African wisdom. The other youngest one is Christianity. So Christianity and Islam, or is Christian and the Muslim, are the babies of ancient African wisdom. And so he embraced it while he was in prison. Right, he's a robbery charge. He used drugs. He was robbery charge. Right, Malcolm Livins, he changed his name to Little to X. Right, and then he changed. He didn't. He also had another one. Yeah, El Haj Malik El Shabazz. And so now, one of the things that you hear that I want to get this down. I want y'all to get this. There was a fight between him and Martin Luther King. Not a physical fight. It was whose focus were you going to follow? Whose route were you going to follow to get respect in a country that was set to treat us like second-class citizens? When you speak of Martin Luther King, you speak of the civil rights movement. Malcolm was like, I don't want civil rights. It's not enough for me. Because at any given time, a government can change their minds. I don't want civil rights. He said he was a human right activist, meaning I want the respect that God gives for creating me. That's a whole different level of fight. Look at the difference too. You're talking about the right to bear arms, the freedom to religion, the right to vote, and he's talking about, yo, everybody needs food and water. Everybody deserves to get married. All right. No one deserves to go to war. I don't, yeah. And the government can sit down and tell you you need to go to war, right? I don't want to go to war. Why? Because I'm not killing another human being. And then all of a sudden, yes, you don't have to go to war, right? The right to rest and leisure, just to prosperity, right? How about human rights? I don't want to inject something in my body. I'm not saying that. That I don't know what it's going to do to my body. Human rights. Civil rights, where the government tells you this is what you're going to do with your body because we told you to do it. Civil rights. I want human rights, and I stand for human rights. That's a difference. And so the journey he was on was real uphill. Real uphill. The difference between him and Martin was that struggle right there. And so, was it the founder of a newspaper, The African Speaks? You can still go buy one. You can still go get one, right? And further promoted the message of the Nation of Islam. Man, he terminated his relationship with Islam and he created his own organization. Ain't that something? Because God has called me to do something. And this is funny because this is where one of the examples that I take, not on the fact that, revolutionary, hardcore, by any means necessary. Yes, it's one. But I'm doing something that God called me to do. I will make arrangements and agreements with the oppressive society to make sure that we can live. I vote. I interview candidates running for office. I vote. I share concepts and news. Black Slate, ATL. It's a group. I vote. I do more than my fair share. I vote. I help other people vote. That's civil. Why? Because I'm buying us time. That buys us time for the fight for human rights. Come on. Elevated wisdom was right there. Elevated wisdom. So what is he asking us in this moment of time? What is the spirit of Malcolm saying? Because he said, you don't go to somebody's house begging for scraps. God gave you what God gave everybody else. Build your own table while you're begging. You feel me? Because we as a black people built the table that America eats off of. I'm not shaking that. We built it. I belong here. I belong in this country. I belong on this soil. We belong here because we built it. We have rights here. But I want more than my civil rights. I want my human rights, and I want human rights for every African in the diaspora. Why? Because every African in the diaspora is not being treated from a human perspective. Why? Because when we tap into the DNA of who we are, the power that we encounter blows their mind. The level of spirit that we can develop blows their mind, and what we can produce with it blows their mind. Can you imagine? What would the world be like if the dominant civilizations were African? Think about it. Because in that place, you're the parent. You're the parent race of every other race, right? You're the parent race. Means every other race came out of you. Mm. And as a parent, if you're raised right, if you're in your right mind as a parent, don't your mother and father love you? Love you. Your mom. Some of us didn't grow up with dads. I got stepdad. My dad loved me, but he didn't love me enough to stick around. My mom and my multiple moms in my community, I had dads in my community, black men who said, every child is mine. That's where I get it from. Every child. So if you were a parent, like your parents, they love us when they're in their right minds. Some of us are not. Why? Because of the mark of slavery and colonialism. Some people say, I wasn't born here. I was born in the Caribbean. Caribbeans got the mark of slavery and colonialism too. What are you talking about? Africa, colonialism, even though they have black governments, colonial, you can see it. Especially when they dictating what to do with your body. I ain't putting nothing in my body that I don't want to put in it. That God didn't deem natural to go in my body. Right? I just don't. I eat healthy. I live healthy. Live clean. But if black folk were the parent race and were at the top of the totem pole when it comes to civilization, how do you think we would treat our kids, which is every other race? My mama loved me to life. Wow. I hear you, ma. Before she transitioned, my mommy said to me, and I got mad at her because she was hard on me. Mommy, why was you so hard on me? She said, what's your limit? I said, why are you trying to talk to me like that? Why are you disrespecting me? I don't have a limit. Exactly. Black man, black woman, black child, black girl, black boy, you have no limit when you're connecting with God. You have no limits. This is what the spirit of Malcolm is telling me right now. You have no limits when you connect with God. So don't settle for a life of less than. Don't quit before you find out why God has you here. And if you have quit on God or the process of healing people from the way God has done for you and guiding people, if you quit, that was the mechanism of the of the not the ancestors, but the colonialism and the mark of slavery to make us not fight. Malcolm said, I'm going to do this until I can't do it no more. And they took him out. They had to execute him, assassinate him, kill him because they was afraid of what he could do for black people. Yeah, I don't mind if somebody's afraid of the God in me. Yeah, I don't mind that. Then let me show them that there's a God in them that you don't have to be afraid of. But when you don't have a God in you, and you're not connected to the God in you, you're going to be afraid of anybody who sees themselves fighting for human rights because there's no stopping them. You're going to have to put a bullet in the brain. But he did some great and marvelous things when he was able to wake up to the God in him. So in this generational fight, Paul Robeson, Malcolm X of today, they both speaking. Go beyond your civil rights and find human rights and find the God in you, and don't stop fighting until you live in a world that you can pass down to a younger generation that has the experience of human rights. Being great because God made you fearfully and wonderfully made. Woo. That's it. Paul Robeson, surrender your mind, body, and your spirit to God and watch you excel at all things in life. And then that will generate your God purpose. But ain't it beautiful when we can find a generational love, right? Oh, I skipped something. The quotes. Malcolm said, you cannot separate peace from freedom because no one can be at peace unless he has freedom. Human rights is freedom. Civil rights is a piece of a pie that can be taken away. History is not hatred. That was the issue behind the critical race theory. History is not hatred. It's the wisdom of what has happened before so we know where we're not going to go. Or it's a eye opener when you go further enough into Black history, African history. It's an eye opener who God called you to be. When I saw that, I said, I have to have this. So I expect to see you in African history class on Saturday and African spirituality class on Saturday. Why? Because we're going to try to get you to your God purpose. But first, we got to get you to see who you are in God. Now, I didn't have the ones with Paul Robeson, right? And so we're gonna switch that to them. We go back. His quotes: "The answer to injustice is not silence." Wait. I got something for that. The answer to injustice is not silence. The critic, but not to silence the critic, but to end injustice. Yeah, it's not to silence the critic, like you're killing people. You don't silence the critic. I'm going to criticize you, so you're going to assassinate, you're going to kill, you're going to destroy. No, it's to end injustice, and that's what this fight is for. And just yeah, man, we still, man, please, people don't even know who they are in God, and we still going through these experiences in pockets, and we not fighting as a race. Can you imagine? Give world of Alkebulan over a million people who participate. We growing. Wait till y'all. I'm about to make some change, some development and some growth with this whole experience. Y'all about to see something happen. I'm giving it because I'm surrendering it to God, and we about to get it. But and when I saw those words today about the silence, I saw this right here. Yeah, never be silent. Speak your peace. Fight for what you believe God has in you. It doesn't have an age. The fight for freedom, liberation, and injustice and equality doesn't have an age. Whatever you got to say in your spirit, say it. Whether the key land is your voice. So come here so that your voices can be heard. And that's all. That's everybody. Wait. Pow. Keeperland alumni calling you out. That's everybody. This be your voice. Let's show up and show out because we are Black history. Yes, we are. Yeah, that's Alika. She used to be in the Keeperland. That's her husband. And then he said, artists are the gatekeepers of truth. We are civilization's radical voice. So when he compiled the intellect, compiled the wisdom, compiled everything, he said we can express truth in a way that's digestible. Wow. You don't have to tell somebody they ugly. You can put on a performance and let them see how ugly society is. You can write a poem. Strange Fruit, Billie Holiday song. What? That's what an artist is. Artist is not somebody that twerks, jerks, and drop it like it's hot. No, they're the gatekeepers of truth. And if with the slave mentality, we'll get away from using artistry to speak truth. And all we use it for is buffoonery. We are civilization's radical voice. Meaning, we, as an artist, and I'm an artist, I can tell you, I write music, uh, hip hop artist, I dance, I sing, I write poetry. I got, man, I have a book back there that everybody always says you need to have published. It's Civilization's Radical Voice. What do you use your gifts for? If it's not to be a gatekeeper of truth. World of Alkebulan seeks to help Black youth everywhere, as Paul Robeson did, become one, fully surrendered in mind, body, and spirit to master all things in life, being the artistry, being the athlete, being the intellectual, being anything that God needs you to be so that truth is manifested. Also, Worlds of Alkebulan seeks to fight for the human right experience, raising Black youth and Black minds to understand that God would have us live a particular way, a way that shows we deserve to be seen as God's blessed children, period. And sometimes there's no way to do it but to make our own road. And that's exactly what we're all about. So, with those parents and everybody else that see this, I need you to act. Please go to the World of Alkebulan website. On it, you'll see the donate button. Click and donate to the growth and development of the World of Alkebulan. Because we will always focus, without a shadow of a doubt, on the rise of the African. And with that, before I go, do not forget February 22nd. We already know that February 22nd, the number 22 is coming up. It is where we get our double proportion of God's power and God's energy. So I'm going to ask you to stay focused. I'm looking for the video so that you can see it. And if I can't find it, I just can't find it. But it is the year of amplification. And so 222, I might do something Saturday that morning to remind y'all. But make sure y'all tap into the double portion of God's power. And you get to know the God in you. Paul Robeson said, master mind, body, and spirit, and let all creativity pour out. Malcolm X today says, civil rights is not enough. Keep fighting until we have human rights. So let the African in you rise. One love.